Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday morning. It is time to go fish. It was a long week, even though I did take off a little bit early from work yesterday because, well, I hadn't been feeling too great all week, and I've been putting off doing a whole bunch of stuff that I kind of needed to get done. So it's not like I took off and rested. I took off and did a bunch of crap that I had piled up that I needed to take care of. So we're gonna head out to the small little local spot that I go to all the freaking time because Toho's still an absolute mess, and there's really nowhere else for me to go unless I want to drive like an hour, which isn't out of the question, and that's probably what's going to end up happening tomorrow. But we'll see what's going on here today. I know that they sprayed here and all the grass was dying the last couple of times that I was here. Hopefully it's balanced out some. Maybe we've got some offshore spots that I can hit again, some stuff that I already know where it's at. If not, we'll just putz around and see what's going on and see if we can find them. They're out there. Just got to find them and see if we can get them to eat. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about how I fish the Sneaky Pete. Catch a lot of fish down here on this bait, and I'm pretty sure I can tell you exactly why I catch a lot of fish down here on this bait. In one of my last couple of videos in the description, I said that there were two baits that you needed to have tied on for summertime in Florida. And believe it or not, I think one of those is a glide bait. And maybe just this glide bait in particular, because of that. Right there. Yep. The noise that this bait makes, I think attracts fish out of the grass pretty well. These big fish get buried down in this grass in the summertime, just trying to stay out of the heat. The water temps are in like the, well, I don't even know what is the water temp right now. It's in the 80s, I think. It's in the upper 80s, 88, almost 89 degrees, and it's like not even 8 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, these fish are going to get buried down in the grass once the sun comes up, especially. Just sit down there. Unless you drop something right on their head, like a worm, they're probably not going to move. But you throw something like this out there that every time you snap that reel handle, it's going clack, 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 clack. It might be enough to get their attention a little bit. And then if they stick their head up out of the grass and they see it, then they kind of want to follow it. And then if they follow it, sometimes they want to eat it. And even if they don't eat it, at least you got them to follow it, and you know that there's fish in the area. So there's a couple of different ways to fish this bait. I feel like this bait is really best fished with the reel. It can be fished with the rod tip, don't get me wrong. I just personally, for this bait, I like to fish this bait with the reel. Even when I'm fishing it with the rod tip, most of the time as I'm fishing it with the rod tip, I'm taking the slack up as I'm twitching it. So it's not going to be one of those baits that it gets a super wide glide and you want to let it twitch and stay on slack, because it doesn't glide that wide. It's an 8-inch bait. And it's really, in my opinion, it's better fished aggressively, especially because of that noise. So a lot of times what I'm doing is I'm throwing it out over this submerged hydrilla, and I'm snapping that reel handle. I'm either working it similar to like a jerk bait, where you'll go twitch, twitch, pause, and let it kind of glide off, twitch, twitch, pause, and then let it glide off. Or I'm just kind of continuously moving it. Just snap, 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 something like that. And that gets these fish's attention, gets them to stick their head up out of the grass, and then they see this thing going crazy up there. And sometimes it gets them to follow it and commit and bite. Sometimes it just gets them to follow it and you just see them. A lot of fish are usually pretty curious about this bait. You'll also notice when I show it again that I fish this bait with a little bit of wire leader on the front. That's because mudfish, gar, pickerel, they're all trying to eat this thing oftentimes, and I've lost quite a few glide baits, period, to big toothy fish down here. So typically every glide that I throw, I put a little piece of wire leader on the front of it. It may foul up the action a bit. I think it causes this bait, once in a while, it causes this bait to kind of want to nose down when you work it super aggressively. But it still doesn't blow out. And you can finesse it through those glides a little bit more, even when you're using the reel handle, with just a little bit of rod action. And you can kind of use that rod tip too to help keep it straight if it wants to dive off to one side or the other super hard. Especially when your boat's moving, you get a little slack in the line, you maybe don't get as hard of a snap on the reel handle one time as you did the last. It can kind of get a little wonky, so you use that rod tip to kind of take up a little extra slack. I catch a lot of fish on this bait between like 4 and 8 pounds. I've never caught anything over 8 on it, but a lot of fish between 4 and 8 pounds. I catch fish smaller than 4 pounds on this bait pretty frequently too. So it's not a bad bait to have tied on in the summer. Again, when fish are feeling particularly lazy, you got to throw something maybe a little bit bigger to draw their attention and get them to come out from that grass and eat. And I'd really like to not look like a liar today and actually catch something. We'll see. Well, no bites on the glide bait so far, so we're going to go to the next bait that I say you pretty much need to have tied on in Florida in the summertime. That is a 10-inch worm. I don't go crazy with my worms. I throw one brand, one size, one color. 10-inch Zumwalt Monster and Plum. That's it. I don't throw anything else. Doesn't matter what the water clarity is, doesn't matter where I'm at, what's going on. If I'm throwing a 10-inch worm, this is the one that I'm throwing. Don't ask me why. I guess it's a confidence thing. Catch a ton of fish on this worm in this color, no matter what the water clarity is, no matter what the conditions are. This worm gets bit in Florida. So that's what I throw. It works particularly well because there are so many places where you're going to need to snake things in and out of grass and stuff, and if you're going to be doing that, this profile is perfect for it. We've got all this submerged hydrilla out here. Throw on like a 1/4 ounce weight, bomb it out into that grass, let it get down in it. Then you're just going to bring it up to the top of the grass and then drag it across a little bit and let it fall back down in it. And that is the name of the game. Right now we got to find it because that grass is not out there. We need to get closer to it. We have to kill the spot lock, drift back a little bit. There's a little bit of grass, but that's not the grass we're looking for. We're looking for the thick stuff. It's been a couple of weeks since they sprayed, so the water quality should be improving a little bit. And hopefully that's bringing them back out into the grass. Oh, was that did I just pull it out of a fish's mouth? Oh, I hope I did not. That's a fish. And it's running right at me with it. There we go. There we go. On the board. We are on the board. Cool. Stink, but it's a fish. Hey. Get out of here. Tell your mom to come bite. Come on. Still looking for the big bite. There's definitely some fish out here at least. So it's just a slow grind with this worm. Just pretty much trying to find where there's still grass out here and getting the worm down in the grass and working it slow. Oh, that's a fish. Whoa, that's a big fish. Okay. Okay. Well, it's not that big, but it's bigger than the other ones. He just tried to wreck it, that's all. It's not that big. You were punching above your weight class for a minute there, bud. Not a bad one. Hey, cool. Oh my gosh, what is happening right here? Did I snag something? I think I snagged a gar. No, I didn't. A bass ate this glide bait as soon as it hit the water. Good Lord. I got like 2 cranks on it. If that. I have a feeling you're gonna hook me if I'm not careful here. Good Lord. Okay. That's the biggest one of the day. He's bleeding. I'm gonna get him back in the water. No, just over 17. 17 and a half. 17 and a half. All right, you're bleeding. Let's get you back. Ah, Jesus. Okay, man. Fine. Go. Bye. That feels like a fish. Yep. Come on, bud. Yeah. You're all wrapped up here, bud. There we go. Another like 16, probably. 16, 17-inch fish. All right around that 1 3/4 to 2 pound mark. At least I'm catching them. Want them big bites though. Man. This is summer Florida fishing though.